Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Alice and welcome to my Love Lessons with Dr. Alice series. Last week I had talked about how my relationship with my long-term boyfriend had improved significantly after doing this 3-day weekend course, personal development course. And it improved our communication, it improved our connection. We were really headed on a great path in a happier, healthy relationship. And a few months after that course, we decided to even strengthen our relationship a little more to make sure we were really solid with where we were at in our relationship. So we started couples counseling and things were even improving even further, but it was on our third session that ended up breaking us up. And what happened was that we were clear that we were confronted with the kids thing, and we were clearly on different paths still. And that he had always been unsure about kids, and I was always a yes about kids, and I was ready to start planning a timeline of what that would look like for our lives. And he was still unsure, and he said he wasn't sure if he could be ready in 3 more years or 10 more years. And I decided I just couldn't wait any longer. And I don't have any regrets for being with him for that long, or even moving across the country to be with him. I learned so much from being in that relationship. Both of us grew a lot as a couple and as individuals. And he was a caring and loving partner for the time we spent together. And if I hadn't met him and I hadn't been with him for the amount of time that I wouldn't have met some amazing, amazing girlfriends of mine. We call ourselves the Powerful Queens. Shout out to you girls. And I wouldn't have met my current boyfriend, who is so loving and amazing and wonderful in a lot of ways too. But going back to what happened and where we decided it was time to walk away and end the relationship, it was devastating. It was definitely hard because we were improving. It was almost a shock. It came out of the blue in a way. And we had discussed the kids thing before, and he seemed to be warming up to the idea, but ultimately it came to that breaking point. And you really have to decide when it comes to a relationship, when is it time to walk away? And there's, in this book called The Mastery of Love, they talk about accepting someone just as they are without trying to change them. And that's what I was doing and hoping that I would convince him to change, that he would come around eventually, and it didn't happen. And that's no fault of him or me, but that's basically just what happened. And in that book, he talks about how if you always wanted a dog, but you got a cat instead, you can't be upset with the cat for acting like a cat. The cat is a cat. And if you had always wanted a dog, then you should have gotten a dog in the first place. And when it comes to deal breakers in a relationship, I'd say limit it to 3 major ones that are definite deal breakers. You might have a long list of what you want in a relationship, but really limiting it to maybe 3 major items that are super important for you and sticking with that list. And even if they don't meet that criteria right off the bat from the first date, that's okay. They might be unsure, but give yourself a timeline of how long are you gonna give them before you decide it's time to move on. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 1 year, maybe longer. And there's no right or wrong answer, but it's just stick with that timeline. Even though it's gonna be hard, it could be heartbreaking and devastating. It's still good to be true to who you are and stick with what you want out of life. And if you're on the other side of it, if you're undecided about kids, then and there's nothing wrong with that either, but if you're on the fence about anything in life, whether it's kids or something else, it's not very powerful. It's not a powerful place to be, undecided, on the fence about something. So take some actions to decide one way or another. Maybe that looks like asking your friends with kids what it's like to have kids, the whole truthful experience. Or maybe it's spending time around your friends' kids or your family's kids so you have more exposure to kids. Whatever that looks like, take some actions to help you make a decision one way or another. And if you change your mind later, that's okay. You can work with what you have for the time being. But it's helpful to know so you can either move the relationship forward or you can end and then move on to someone new eventually. So as far as the lesson I wanted to talk about today is just to be true to who you are and really decide for yourself what you really need out of a relationship and stick with that. Thank you.